Welcome back to Live Well with Dr. Mel. We made it to day 30 of the 30-day challenge, and we get to play. Let's get started.
Let's begin by finding a comfortable seated position on the mat, cross-legged. Sit nice and tall, pulling the crown of the head towards the ceiling, and then begin to sway back and forth. Have fun with it. Loosen up the spine, roll the shoulders forward and back. Nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Loosen up. Excellent work. Now begin to find your way onto all fours, wrists, elbows, shoulders in one line, and you can move into a cat-cow. Looking up towards the ceiling, widening the collarbones, and then chin to chest, belly button in towards the spine. Now listen to your intuition here. Do some circles or sway side to side. Really loosening up the vertebrae, finding space throughout the spine here. Wiggle the hips side to side, rock forwards and backwards. Play with it. Walk the hands back towards the knees, curl the toes, and we'll move into our deep yoga squat. Keeping our hands on the mat first, and then have fun with it here. Wiggle side to side, maybe raise a hand up towards the ceiling, the other hand. Listen to your body, whatever feels good. Walk the hands back out. We'll find plank, and we'll rock back and forth in plank here. Pull your belly button in towards your spine, core tight, and then press back into downward dog, pedaling your legs left and right, even swaying your hips back and forth, maybe looking towards one armpit, then towards the other armpit, loosening the neck as well. This is your first downward dog of the day, so just take your time to loosen up here. Excellent, and then walk your feet slowly up to your hands to find ragdoll. Play in ragdoll here, swaying back and forth, loosening your neck, mini circles with your hands, swaying left and right, loosening your low back and hips. Take a deep breath here, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and come to flat back with palms facing down, hands back. Using the strength of your core, press up into mountain. Chest lifted, shoulder blades squeezed back, hands overhead or at your sides. Fold into flat back, hands on your shins. Hands find the mat, and left foot steps back into lunge. Place your hands to the inside of the right foot. You can drop the knee to the mat, or you can keep it remaining in the air as you twist, raising the right hand up towards the ceiling. Gaze at your right fingertips, finding a twist. Lower the right hand down to the mat. Step the right foot back into plank. Lower down, bending the elbows for cobra, and press up into upward dog. Melt back to the mat, pressing back to your downward dog. Slowly walk your feet back to the top of the mat. Melt and let your head hang, finding ragdoll. Back to flat back, hands back. Deep inhale, exhale, and press up into mountain pose. Find a proper posture here in mountain pose, squeezing your shoulder blades back, and then fold forward, melting to the floor, sliding the hands up to flat back. Melt and find the hands to the floor one more time, stepping your right foot back this time, finding high lunge, or place the knee on the mat, whichever you prefer here. Right hand remains on the mat and left hand finds the ceiling, looking up towards your left fingertips. Then lower the left hand down to the inside of the left foot and stepping the right foot back to meet the left. Find plank, bend the elbows, press up into upper dog, melt to the mat, nose to the mat, curl your toes under and press back into downward facing dog. Press firmly through your hands here, tailbone up towards the ceiling. Back into plank, knees find the mat, and hands crawl back to the knees. Sitting in hero pose. As we set up for rabbit, we're going to use a prop today to help with rabbit. You can place your forehead on the block or textbook or pillow, whichever you have. Hands find the heels, and then you're going to raise your hips. Try not to put too much pressure through your head. Raise your hips up towards the ceiling. As high as you can, pull on the heels to get more of a stretch through the upper back. Excellent work. Untuck the chin, come back to a seated position, move the block out of the way, or you can keep the block there if that is easier for you. This time we're going to bring our head towards our knees. Crown of the head touches the mat, but no pressure through the crown of the head. Pull on the heels, raise the hips, raise the hips, raise the hips. By using your hands and pulling on the heels, you can raise the hips higher. Beautiful. Lower the hips back to the heels and stack the vertebrae. Come back to hero pose. Now we're going to play in a modified crow. So hands are going to come to the mat. You're going to find your deep yoga squat again. And we're going to slowly rock onto our hands, bringing our knees to the back of our triceps. So coming to our tippy toes, knees find our triceps, and body weight rocks into our hands. So we're rocking into our hands and then back into a squat. Rocking into our hands, and then you can play with lifting one foot up and down. As you put more and more weight onto your hands, you're able to lift your right foot and then lift your left foot. Beautiful work. Come back into your squat. Take a moment here and then crawl back out into your plank. Take a few breaths here and then step your left foot up and then your right foot up, or just walk up, whichever you prefer, and then press up into mountain. Chest lifted, hands back, and then we'll set up for tree pose. Body weight goes into the left foot. Right sole of your foot finds your shin, and you're going to open that right knee up, opening the front of your hips. You can play with your hands here. Hands can come overhead or in prayer. Find a focal point to steady your gaze. Beautiful work. Lower the right sole of your foot to the mat. Raise the left foot. Find your shin. Open the left knee towards the back of the room, squaring your hips, and play with your hands here. Hands can come overhead or they can come into prayer at heart center. Lower the left foot back to the mat. Hands come to our low back, and we'll find a little back extension here. Taking a nice deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. Beautiful. Hands melt to our shins for flat back. Extending our crown of our head long. Squatting down into a chair. Body weight in our heels. Wiggle our toes. Hands to heart center. Drop your right elbow to your right knee and look up towards the ceiling. Left elbow to left knee and look up towards the ceiling for a little twist. Great work. Hands back to the mat. And We'll step back with our left foot and then our right foot for plank, and then knees come down to the ground, making our way to our backs. Slowly lowering onto our back. Setting up for bridge pose, bringing our heels towards our butt. See if you can reach your heels, bending your knees as much as possible. Feet firm on the mat. Press down strong through our heels as we raise our hips, squeezing our glutes. If you can interlace your hands underneath your back, bringing our shoulder blades underneath a little bit more, lifting our hips a little bit more. Head and neck remain relaxed on the mat. Beautiful work. Unlace the fingers, drop the hips down to the mat. Find the outside of our feet, grabbing our pinky toes for happy baby. Knees come in towards our shoulders, and we can rock back and forth by extending one leg and then extending the other leg, pressing our heels up towards the ceiling, alternating back and forth, pressing the left foot and then the right foot, extending our knees and bending our knees. Getting a nice little massage of the low back here. Head, shoulders, tailbone remain on the mat as we rock gently back and forth and happy baby. Have fun with it. And then we'll lower the soles of our feet back towards the mat. And we'll take a few breaths here, in through our nose, filling the belly with air, out through our mouth, letting everything go. Sinking a little deeper into the mat. And then you can hug your knees in towards our chest. Tiny circles in one direction. And then in the other direction. Getting a little massage of the low back here. Find some stillness by extending your legs long for our final Shavasana of the 30 days. Thanking yourself for completing this journey and for everything you learned about your spinal health and body weight exercise that you can perform easily from your home, and how 10 to 15 minutes of exercise can make all the difference. Wishing you many blessings. See you on the mat tomorrow.